for the way these games have been going. But again, here they're just exposed. You've got a line of sight. MBE just keep putting the pressure on and blank.
Yeah, I think for Alter Ego at this point in time, it's just not looking good, right? And I think we said this multiple times at this point. There had to be a change going today. Kalaris gave some really good points. There's some very risky rotations. I think this one in particular was a risky drop as well. I think you can go for risky drops where they provide you a bit more of an idea of actually getting further into the game. But when you're dropping over towards Mansion and then split dropping in Lipovka as well, and you know that Procedure dropped towards Yasnaya, MBE spots drop around this location as well, you're sort of playing with fire at that point in time. You know, there is just an opportunity to, look, give up on the scouting early on. We have a very good read on where most of these teams move in from, just from watching a lot of the other games that have happened throughout the group stage. Let's just go for a 4-man push over towards Lipovka. We'll split out. We'll try and sweep up towards the top side of Kameshki and move down from there. There's a lot of good little pit stops along the way on that side of the map. So for Alter Ego, again, a risky drop, which I don't think was particularly necessary here. The Xavier, kind of expected from them. Move up towards northern side, take the high ground control, and play off the back of that one. So I like this from DXavier indeed. Mad Bulls also find themselves on the northern side of Yasnaya. Very nice little quick rotate from them, and a very hard shift over towards the eastern side, encompassing a lot of water in this one as well. So if teams want to get their feet wet, they certainly can if they want to live out this game a little bit longer. But for most teams, it's going to be either trying to sweep on this northern side or trying to hold towards some of these compounds on the edge. It's kind of a difficult position to play in. Some teams will be afforded some great spots early on if they were able to get here quick enough, but some teams on this outer edge will be struggling to find themselves a home.
Yeah, man, this is one that's setting up to potentially be a bit of a community swimming pool circle if it keeps up like this. About 40% water at the minute, so landmass really going to be important to lay claim to early. Try and set yourself up as quick as physically possible, and don't leave it up to another squad to already claim all of the compounds.
It gave me 2 vehicle
The mass migrations are coming through. You can see everyone
He
starting
takes
to
them
make their
sevens.
rotate down towards the zone, trying to get there as quick as physically possible. Bit of contact on some of the players that are playing slightly more defensive as well inside of the compounds, just listening out
I'm
for
good
where
to go.
everyone's heading. Mad Bulls stopping for a
We
quick
can go back to the
pit
shop, try buy an
adjustment.
extended
Meanwhile,
magazine.
we've got
That's
the
all I need.
pull up from Alliance down towards the compound of
I need the
Rejects, and that
grappling
nade
hook.
was tasty blank. That was
I
a
got a molly,
3-pointer
of course.
straight onto the head of OCO.
Yeah, certainly painful. In the meantime, Inco's getting picked up by
cars
Nick
here.
Galaxy.
Let's
That's
go-
on the
let's go
south
up
side
to the
right now.
shop real quick.
Both teams were rotating
need
in,
an
so
extended magazine,
some
and
pretty
let's get outta
decent
here.
shots I assume were being made from inside the vehicle itself. Very much a turret from Nigma Galaxy all in one vehicle. Slightly dangerous, but it's worked out for them so far, with Inco taking 1 knock and a flush off the back of that. In the meantime, Malise Esports situate themselves all the way over towards Lipovka, try and keep themselves as safe as possible. Alter Ego regroup on the coastal side towards the east with 3 players, but surrounded by an N-Hyper as well as the Mad Bulls,
I'm good.
who have picked up what I think is one of my favorite
can go
positions within the
to
circus. A
Pochinki.
really nice ridge side that you can play from over on this eastern edge, and keeps you very clear. You do have to worry about some of the teams on the eastern side. See right now, Nigma Galaxy just cannot find anywhere to stay. This is what I'm talking about. If you come out on the edge here, you are going to be driving around a lot. And it's even more terrifying the fact they're in one vehicle, which is exactly why they try and get into a second, but not before Coops is pulled out of it. And Freak
I
will
was
just have to
expecting this
leave
to
off the
damage
back of
me,
that.
but it didn't. Nice.
It's so unlucky.
Exactly.
See the heads up play there, trying to dash the smoke can before the drop, so it blooms to at least give him some sort of cover.
Thank you for the raid,
Unfortunately,
and Junie.
you do Alliance have such a good angle, such a good line of sight onto that position that they've basically just been gifted a
Junie, I was
freebie.
actually
know.
lurking and watching you play
And the
Isaac
situation
a
there
little
worsens.
I was watching you
even
play
more
Isaac a
for
little bit. I
them.
hope
So
you
you're
had a
still driving
fun,
around looking for a
fun
parking
stream.
spot
I hope it
in a
was
never-ending
nice. I hope it
garage, and there will never be a parking
I
spot
love you
blank
so
because everyone
much.
is already
I
set up
answered your DM.
with
I'm gonna
guns
answer
using these
more.
parking
I'm
spots
sorry.
as
Yeah,
compounds
no,
to
no,
play in.
Yeah, and they won't be leaving anytime soon, so you're
was
not
your
getting that
stream?
many
How are
streams.
you?
I'm
I was
sorry
just
about
wondering.
that.
I should have
In the meantime, we do get Circle that moves down
About,
towards that
my
south side, in
little
which case Reject and you do Alliance's compounds become very, very valuable indeed. So for Udo Alliance, currently they do have the strongest spot, which is up on high. Reject slightly safer in terms of the fact that they can just sort of sit in this compound.
There's different
for a while.
positions where Mike can appear.
Udo Alliance, with them being in this compound, they're not likely to move anytime soon, so they don't want to expend too many grenades.
No,
just
I think if Mike is not here, then there's one on
Reject have this
rooftop.
outpost, which is guarded by Udo Alliance. Eventually, they are likely going to have to fight against one another.
Moving to 40.
But both teams in this sort of neutral agreement at the moment.
Someone else is shooting me though, or was it you?
Hitting a nice shot across onto Freak and dropping the man. So the situation still just going from bad to worse, second after second.
He's going to the airdrop. He's going to the airdrop.
Uncomfortable, just playing out in the open, exposed to the elements at this point. Reject Tokyo
Crazy
firing off the
shots. FaZe on the move as well.
No flipping.
Around the side of the ridge. Contact from inside of the building.
We can go there too.
Spitting bullets at them, seeing if he can keep the pressure on. Mormon going to dash back with a couple of smokes as well, at least provide some protection. Koi's got the range on it. Trying to debate whether or not he wants to engage on this one. If he can hit the shots with such a substantial drop, battle back as well. FaZe constantly just taking damage from either side now. A lot of HP being licked off them as well. So this could start getting a bit rough for FaZe, Blank, if they can't find a way to calm this one down.
Yeah, and Hyper has got so many angles on you. GK first over towards the shack right now. Shifan taking shots from inside the building. FaZe have sort of set themselves up in a pretty horrid scenario right now for themselves. Hyper looking to potentially regroup, but again, GK first comes in with another clutch shot over towards Mela, in which case they might just send towards this. The blue is pushing them in, and an opening knock like that is actually gorgeous.
I was expecting maybe someone will show up or not, but I guess not. The zone is still quite big. Let's see where we have to go.
How many more are in store for them?
Okay.
Oh, let's go here.
Nice way to reality check FaZe straight away, man. Off the back of their chicken dinner as well, if you could pull them down here.
Going for these shots. We are so greedy.
We gotta go.
Looking to finish off Melee. You can kind of understand why he's going for it, though. You don't want to let that player live. They are able to finally flush him out, but two players out in the blue right now, and FaZe currently have
was there someone on the hill here?
Shooting angles over towards them. Koi luckily does find another on Mormon. He's so up close and personal, taking a lot of shots. There's not a lot of support coming through. Ventores understands that he too needs to get a move on quite quickly with the circle moving in. Very, very quick movements all around the block for Hyper, but this has been a sort of a crazy push from Hyper, locking both FaZe and them to their dooms. GK first even drops over there to the play zone itself. This has been a very, very odd fight. Gladiator is looking to maybe get themselves slightly involved. Shifan inside the building, and Hyper actually indeed go down. Mormon as well as Ventores might be able to continue.
And the other one is on the pool building rooftop. Do you see it?
Fights coming through
pool building rooftop.
From Hyper indeed. I didn't
Can you
like
go to the water
whatsoever.
tower with the grappling hook?
Almost a guaranteed hold over towards the south side, just given up by some odd angles being taken.
Yeah, it really does feel like they kind of both drag themselves
down. We should go to the zone, to be honest. We should go to the zone.
Potential really successful outcome for either team in that situation.
How do you renew your membership? You go to this little button on YouTube that says join, and you tap on it, and then you will get all the options.
Yeah, sure, FaZe still has presence at least, but hang on, hello, I'm a bit of a roll straight into Matic. Okay, so I guess FaZe were in fact just a present for Gladiators, Blank, because they've given them one additional point.
So how can I renew? I want to buy my own membership. You go to this join, you just tap on the join or click on the join button. And then the membership menu will open. You can select your tier, how you want to pay for it, and stuff like that.
Stop off to get a little bit of scouting done and realize actually quickly put some gas in it. Change the gears as fast as possible, please. Nice rotate from Procedure Evos. They do get in front of the guys
going
from Gladiators,
to the airdrop, I guess.
Which is probably not.
But I really want to be at the house. No, they stopped. How many people?
Stopped off there.
Oh no, it's a second car. No, let's go. No, it's the wrong path. It's the wrong car.
Would have been a better position where currently Procedure Evos
I know,
is, though.
The one guy behind
you
this
look
car
at the lay of land now.
He's still there. 35, and he's finished on the hill.
Most teams you can see situated on the southern side of the circle, right? Just because this is providing the most amount of cover, there is so much open ground down to traverse if you're coming up from this northern edge. So MBE Sports Gladiators got a bit of a weird rotation to make here. Gladiators could take the fight here versus Procedure Evos and potentially move off on the back of it. There's going to have to be some good nades, and Kitsune does not spot the player off towards his left.
Ooh, Kitsune engaging with the nades early, looking for the jump down. He was ready for that one.
Do you have any money left?
Spots Redface and will leave him quite red in the face after that uppercut from the DBS. Zerich from absolutely miles away, looking to get involved with this fight where possible, scanning the hillside with his eyes and keeping a nice understanding of the situation. Meanwhile, here we see MBE starting to dive in an assault inside of the compound. Bullet after bullet, whizzing close by. NASA now re-aggressing as well, looking to try and push their way back through. Spam up close. Fist boy needs to land an uppercut.
Thank you so much.
Looking too good for him though. He'll go down to the spray. How on earth is he still alive with a trickle of HP blank? It felt like he was trying to 1v4 that with nothing to his name.
I mean, Xenox did an incredible job there, but his quest coming in over towards Reject. They're holding on as best they can. The crash is just not working out. Luther immediately gets inside. They want to keep hold of all four members here. They know they've got a strong position to be working with. Duello moves in.
I think we can go to just the containers real quick
towards the door. And finally, it's over as Dixie will pick up an elimination over towards Vahidan. But 6 eliminations for Gladiators. Once again, a pretty decent result for this squad. They'll have to push on through.
I have only gifting membership to others, but doesn't show me to renew my PG.
Could be a good idea, but even
what does it say to your membership? Like when does it expire?
Inko, holding on whilst Kitsune scouts towards the western side of the circle. This is far, far better for Gladiators so far. You can tell the teamwork is here. Yesterday they just felt so disjointed.
But they're just fighting as well.
Maybe you can try when it expires.
We're seeing them play so confidently now, where they're actually pulling up, looking like they're going into these engagements with the idea being to win them, with the idea being to get elims. Whereas yesterday it felt a bit timid. It felt like they were playing inside of a box and kind of waiting for teams to come towards them. So I'm glad to see it. Definitely a much needed facelift for Gladiators, looking a lot more like the side that we like to see, at least.
I guess.
A lot of movement going on now as well. Bit of reshuffling. There's a ton of commotion down here. So everyone's kind of ringing the proverbial dinner bell.
And then I'm good to go.
It started to bait in the rotators. The man
can give you 33 bullets
and try and squirrel away some of the points. Let's see if that'll be a potential outcome here. Roadside shenanigans for NBE. Meanwhile, Melise engaging on Origo. That was big blank. Nice nade to open it up.
A whopping 113
nade as well. Kisyu looks for another. Sends it in, but Origo is chucked away just for the time being. Smoke's been dropped down by Melise Esports. They don't want to get caught off on the side here. In the meantime, Becker on his lonesome trying to take down the rest of the DXA. He does find at least Levi's here, which is fairly impressive indeed. CEO later off in the wings, looking to see if he could spot any of the players here in Lipovka.
Why is Mubarak pinned? Because today is the day.
This is where they've resided for a very, very long time now, looking to potentially get a little bit more out of it. But Melise have them surrounded. Reject once again, surviving their position.
They used the flare here. I guess at the wooden house on this side, 150.
You do.
They drop 85.
What can they do in a spot like this?
We're still in the zone here, though.
I give you 8 times for the
adjusting the crosshair, paranoid about the smoke expiring to his left, but wants to prioritize the correct angle.
I guess I'm wrong because it's down the hill. Let's go closer.
Reject, once they expose themselves, they've got a 3-pronged smoke wall blocking themselves at the minute, with the tree geometry providing a bit of cover as well. Slowly pushing their way up past the bushes now, as Lufa will jump in the rotate car.
They used it here.
Should have got info on that as well as he drove up. Seems like he knows he could be peeked from the ridge side. So we'll smoke that off and try and cover himself.
2 cars outside.
Clark's up
One
top
person
lane.
outside waiting
for
the player.
DMR as well to work with potentially here. Seems like it's the shotgun.
Sometimes MK, I can't believe it. I shoot his head, get headshot, I shoot his head again, and it's like the recoil is so high. It's 10 meters above him.
Slightly off the mark.
It's supposed to be so steady. It's like a great weapon.
Comes through, and I think that's from MBE Sports.
It's two behind this house on the left side.
The Gladiators Gladiators continue to lose members. Squash finally does go down off in the distance. And the circle does center up and confirm up towards Lipovka. So any team that made that decision early is happy about it. But look at this. Udo Alliance losing members left and right, but the drop shot will at least keep them alive for a little bit longer. But the drop shot just ends up with them being dropped themselves. Udo Alliance out and Reject up to 5 eliminations. A very different face on this team, looking more OES today. Demonic coming through from Reject.
Big gun, I can't peek that.
This is more what we wanted, right? You're raising hell a little bit now. They're getting stuck into the game plan, not playing as timid, fighting when necessary, trying to play towards center, contesting for edge control when needed.
Yep.
It's better from Reject. They've got to maintain that, keep that course going. Don't let it drop off now, as they do at least find their way through the test of Udo and control that one. NBE keep popping up all over the shop. It feels like NBE have just been running back and forth, trying to stay alive from this roadside, having little moments of chip damage onto anyone that peeks into them. They're still here for now, just in front of Reject. They're exposed if they go for a bit of a push. They're just using the smoke to hold themselves. Now Zara is engaging with it. It's a nice first nade. Got the lineup on the second as well, Blank. The nades alone could be enough to deal with them.
I think we should just stay here.
Man, the long arm on Sarah is looking good, but nasty shots coming in from Nakaze through the smoke, takes down a fair few of them. Now Duello left to challenge versus Nakaze off in the distance. Nice shot on the edge, but quickly cleans them all up. And what a clean finish there from Nakaze at the end. It looked like it was all done and dusted for the squad, but fantastically well held out by Nakaze. Gladiators still at 4 players alive, but one of the final teams to be on this northern edge alongside them and NVE Sports. Mad Bulls up to 5 eliminations. Gladiators up to 8. They're doing good here.
Oh, I see one guy 200. The guy with the DBS 200 on the hill.
We even heard about the dinner bell so far. Gladiators have been hitting us with some nice mash rotators at the moment. These rotates have been clean.
Whatever they're cooking up today, Blank, it looks like it is fresh.
That's okay. We can go to the church. We can go to the church.
Nothing being reused here. Ooh, turning up the heat though as the kitchen metaphor continues. Have to get out of that one. Melise set ablaze, couldn't handle it. Kiss you dropped as the M4 will give him the damage. Business being done. Mad Bulls close by as well. They can start to breach and clear, take the players out that are inside of these buildings now, but Frozen crumbles. He cracks under the pressure on the contact, and it's all getting a little bit sheepish. Constant damage being fired out by Gladiators, sure, but no one wanting to make the first mistake. You have such a sheer number of squads, all close, shoulder to shoulder inside of these compounds, with only Gladiators being able to complete the push down.
Yeah, he's at the rock. He's at the rock side.
They're in a pretty dream spot right now, and it's going to be so much harder for this heat map of teams we can see all on top of each other. Inside of the neighborhood,
and the other one is west.
Blank. They're not friendly neighbors.
Not at all. Everyone's just leaving some horrid messages on one another's doors right now. People just aren't picking up the newspaper. They're turning the Amazon delivery guy away. They will not be handing that through the post box to their next door neighbor at all. But for Gladiators, what an incredible circle for them. Moves up towards this north side. They've had direct contact with a lot of these teams on the southern edge. What's great about this rotate from Gladiators as well is that they forced out the Mad Bulls from this position just with sheer firepower. Up to 9 eliminations.
The guy from the rock is moving in his healing suit, but oh boy, MK is crazy.
Just around about 18 points behind Mad Bulls, who we know had a great day yesterday. This has been very good stuff from the Gladiators. And again, it's that pressure off in that first game that allows you to succeed later on. They're moving it over towards NBE Sports. Sec, barely any HP. The vehicle flies over the top, and 60's there on Akaze. He's quickly put down, and NBE Sports is out. Oh my goodness me, Gladiators are fighting.
My friend.
What are we watching, Blank? Is this a Michael Bay movie? Because that was a blockbuster. They come flying through the air, hit the griddy on that one as the shot connects mid-movement, and then they just continue on as well. This is ridiculous. Meku and Kitsune just putting bullets down.
Hit him 3 times again. Okay, there we go.
This was a great move from Meku as well, mate. They left him behind on the side swipe, just in case anyone was between the tree.
Right?
Likely Meku's going to be a sacrifice in this situation, but he's got great lines of sight over towards Duxan, providing very, very difficult terrain for Duxan to deal with. They step out of the way of the bullets from Kitsune, as well as Tixi and Matic. They step directly into the bullets from Meku, who's very much safe on this outer edge. Luckily, Zipian is able to get some shots back over towards Kitsune, but it's just Meku and Tixi lighting them up.
The middle.
They're the Hydra right now, Blank.
He's smoking
it feels
at
like
the
if
tree.
you sever one head,
300.
2 more will grow back in its place. That's what Gladiators are doing right now.
I don't know.
A single knock results in them finding 2 elims, or the elims could keep on coming as well, but maybe it will go in favor of Mad Balls, as Alter Ego wanted to try and ego challenge, but they go down quick.
Can you go all the way to the edge
on that one, as Melise third party and Mad Balls hold on to their compound. Gladiators, though, still showing that they're handy with the sharpened steel, slicing their way through anyone that peeks into them. Now just pushing up the road to close down these and make sure these eliminations are theirs for good, Blank.
Yeah, Tixi flies over towards that position, has the M4 in hand. Lovely nade over the top as well.
Oh, he's not.
Now just digging in the back here. Another nade flies over the top.
Oh, he tricked me with the smoke, because I was like, maybe he's at the other tree. I thought this was a far throw. Nice, he was at the far tree.
By the fire, by the smoke, stands up to try and hit this one. The step out is there, and Tixi gets taken down. Meku left remaining for the squad, but honestly, with the amount of damage that the Gladiators been able to do, they've just been looking for those eliminations. We talked about this early on as well, Jackie, in the sense that eliminations desperately what you need. This is what you can confirm in these games. This is what you know you can handle, and I appreciate that they're just fighting for them.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's the one part that you can control just by playing aggressive, playing confidently, and guaranteeing those eliminations. And that's what they've done. They've played for the elims here. Now they can try and see what they can squeeze out in terms of placement, because the other teams are doing the infighting for them. And it's whittled us down to only 2 players. Really, you've got to worry about.
Let's go.
Oh man, Mad Balls licking their lips at the prospect of this one. They do find Meku. He's exposed himself behind the rock. Now it's simple pickings.
Because it's a great
as long as
weapon, and why does it
reset,
have more recoil
you do have an
than
edge.
an
The battle of
SKS?
attrition is in your camp. They're setting themselves up
I
for
think
a
it's
chicken
basically
dinner.
just like the SLR is bad. Now it was way better, but now it's kind of bad. And because the SKS was like buffed, it's stronger. But I feel like the SKS is better than MK when it comes to single shots.
6 points, 9 points total.
It's a little bit odd.
It doesn't feel great, but if you're able to get your chicken dinner off the back of this in a 2v3, 13 points on this match feels really
BG, can
decent.
someone transfer his or her membership to anyone else is not interested?
Very ideal for them, but the Mad Balls
if you get the membership by accident and you don't want it, there's no downside to it.
As well, and they pick themselves up yet another chicken dinner.
You know what I mean?
3 in the space
you
of
have
2
0
days.
obligations, no nothing.
That's huge from Mad Balls.
There's nothing that happens to you.
Pace from what we were seeing from them, looking an awful lot better. And also now, Blank, it goes back to our point about the fact that you don't want to leave it up to another team to decide your fate in
There's
the
like 10
survival
people
stage.
around
You want to
the
make as many
Papagatti. Oh,
points
look,
as
look, there's a second
possible
Papagatti.
in the
You see
limited
it?
number of games you have to play.
There's a second
and that's what Mad
Papagatti.
Balls are doing
Because I parked it in the perfect angle.
Yeah, it's a stressful game for Mad Balls as well. Not an easy one.
I
You
parked
can
it in
see
the
that
perfect
they're
angle.
not super excited about this because it's more of a relief than anything they're able to pull off that chicken dinner. Playing within Lipovka, there was so much
we do the
infighting
same
in
thing
that
again.
area, getting forced
I go
out by
quarry,
the
get 3
Gladiators. I think
people,
it was
and
a
you kill
very
the last
wise
one.
move for them to actually
But
just
this time I
send
don't get
across from
finished.
the rock side
How about
in the
that?
water toward those buildings. Yes, they had to fight for it versus
Sankrut.
Malise Esports, but they were confident to do
Sankrut,
that.
thank
And
you
it sort
so
of gave
much
them that
for
winning
the
position.
50
I think things got dicey as soon as they started to see the
memberships.
circle move towards the north
50,
side.
my
Like,
man.
have we
Thank
made
you
a
so much
mistake?
for the
Did we
love.
make the right call here? But you
Thank
just
you.
got to follow through. 44,000 kilometers travel for
That is
Gladiators.
amazing.
Once
Have
again,
an amazing
these rotates
Friday,
are coming
Sankrut.
through quicker.
Really
They're
appreciate
more
it.
confident
Thank you.
with them. I don't know what happened between the space of yesterday and today, but there has been some serious conversation between these lads on the team.
Something's happened, you know. I don't know if it happened at the hotel breakfast or where it was, but it seems like Gladiators have got their heads screwed back on. And they're playing some really nice PUBG Mobile today, Blank. You know, this is exactly what we wanted to see in terms of...
You're doing it all on your own, so I'm just like...
They deserve the invite in the first place and that they're able to make some moves here. What more will be in store for us, though, and can they keep it up? We'll find out. Let's get back to the desk with the number one Gladiators fan. It's Jason Kaplan.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I think Jackie mixspoke
but I
there.
have a crown. Do you have a crown?
That's the number one Gladiator fan ever. But we have to say, it wouldn't be Gladiators if they didn't show up exactly when they needed to kind of advance on through in an event. And hey, you know, credit to them, another massive game for them in terms of eliminations, great position as well. They were able to crash an NBA Sports and kind of do the exact same thing just the other way around from the prior match. But also, Mad Bulls, man, like, there's so many things to talk about. You know what? We're not gonna talk. No, let's do it. Maxman talks about Gladiators, and then we'll hop to what I have ready for Colaris.
Okay, Jason McSpoke. Okay, Gladiators. I didn't want to talk about them because I didn't want to curse them, Jason. Okay, that was the reason. Now I see. Okay, but right now, Gladiators of course playing the high ground position, able to
guy in front of me here on the hill, right in front of me.
Open after they regrouped from that 2-2 split with a really good spot. And also, one thing I enjoyed Colaris from Gladiators is they tried to go for that high ground on the road. They tried to fight Envec. They tried to
statue, the airdrop. One guy statue with the grenades.
If you're not in the city, you want to avoid a lot of that fight happening in Lipovka.
Yeah, one guy named building.
Headshot and body hits.
Such a good angle, but I think that was going to be
and it just wasn't good enough. One guy at the helmet, two at the helmet.
Yeah, go on.
No, you go on.
I was going doolally in this game.
That was this guy.
I was going
the one who was waiting patiently in the corner.
How often do you see a basically close to the block end like
the one at
the one
at the grenade is jumping down.
As you say, Gladiator is doing really well in terms of the eliminations and then going to the west for the rotate to try and make this work. Never mind. Mad Bull's
one guy in the middle at the stairs.
The main building. North of Lipovka and in Lipovka. Where do you begin? There's so much to talk about.
Well, obviously the smoke wall that Maxman brought up while we saw Mad
there's still so many people here. Crazy.
Smoke wall, as he coined it, to get through safely was something to be seen. If we're talking about how teams got into Lipovka, let's also mention Alter Ego, Colaris.
Do it!
You wanna go down?
What are they doing?
I think we should go to the other warehouse with the car.
You got really close to the mic there.
I got really close to the mic. I just Lipovka dropping team.
Okay.
Where were they? Okay, they moved west, right? They got lost one to heaven. I was like walking through to heaven, which is ridiculous. And then they moved north, and then they have to swim all the way back to Lipovka. They are lost at present. They are taking. I said it before this game. Constantly taking risks here in PUBG Mobile. They're playing a very risky style. They've got splits. They're walking where they shouldn't be, going where they shouldn't be, and eventually, yes, they salvaged
in front of the house. In front of the house, 195.
Had track of them swimming. Probably with
I had the glitch when you jump out of the car, you can't control your character.
Kind of lost in the mix, so they were allowed to come back up on the shore of Lipovka. Am I taking crazy pills? Anyway, yeah,
lost him.
I'm done.
You should be.
Well, not to mention, you also pointed out, too, when we were watching that Gladiators is probably the only team that could see them rock up on the beach, but they were about at that 400-meter distance mark away.
The damage I'm inflicting on these people without getting a knockout.
Looking towards them, and we even saw Kissu like, wait, what are you guys doing in that building? How did you guys even get here?
Yeah.
He's going mad. I've never seen him like this.
Melise was like, who is he? What's going on next door?
Knocked one at the helmet, another one, but up like
yes,
you know what? You know what, Colaris?
I have a grenade, but you have to aim at the up platform, okay?
Some of the Frost Festival currently going on within PUBG Mobile.
You
can revel in the exhilaration of gliding down the slopes in a snowboard and using snow mounts like Matt.
He was here at the upper platform.
Potentially turning people into snowmen as well. Make sure you guys load up PUBG Mobile, download the new update, and participate and play.
His friend is coming up the stairs, a third guy.
2023 popularity,
you just stay here, I go more. You stay here, I go more north.
Exclusive honorable rewards for you guys at home to participate and win. It's all kicking off between November 15th, December 15th, so make sure you guys are getting into the game and potentially able to win some rewards you can show off to your friends. Also, while you're playing in this one, don't forget about the Pagani collaboration happening with PUBG Mobile as well. You can rev the engine with the iconic Pagani Imola and Zonda R models, which I believe. Colaris, are you ready to be salesman? Yet again. Tell us the features.
740 brake horsepower. You got a V12 engine as well as 710 Newton meters of torque, Jason. It's a car for you, but it's very expensive in real life.
Well, my question is,
I
can
almost
I fit
got
in
the
the
guy
car?
up.
Because we all know I'm extremely tall.
Probably you cannot actually. You're probably too tall.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's a shame. Maybe we can get special order one made for me. And also, last but not
and I
least,
think at the
before we head
grenade
to break
section
here,
as
the new RP84
come
Victor
on.
Dance, which is available now. You guys can show off your
gonna
victories with
grenade
the PMGC vibe, and also use your Victor Dance to cheer for your favorite PUBG Mobile team. And we all know who people are voting for. Max is all aboard the Gladiator train, but we have to wait till that train
they're
takes
not
off
moving
after the side of the short break.
One move here to this house.
Yeah.
Second one move. The
you-
third move. I think they're gonna push us. I wish they do.
How much ammo do you still have? I don't. I have only one magazine.
Do you remember the one I killed by the?
He's coming with the
place?
cannon. He's coming with the
Can
cannon
you
towards
loot
you.
him?
He's coming with the cannon towards you. He's standing right next to you. Right next to you. Right next to you. Right next to you. What a crazy attempt. I have 4 bullets for
He has AK.
yeah.
He has AK from gun.
What a crazy attempt. My man. Well, at least he wasn't camping, so that's nice. One person in the main building. He left it. Still main building and the staircase.
Well, Max, I know how you are
Where?
the biggest fan of Gladiators, but luckily for you, we don't have to
The
talk about them
Mosin,
too
don't
much
you hear
more,
it?
because it
They
looks
don't
like
move
with
with
the
us?
points they've gotten these last 2 matches alone, that should almost guarantee them a safe
One is in here in the
position
staircase.
into
But
our
I need to go
last
down
chance.
for
However,
a little bit
it does
more
get
loot.
easier from there. Keep in mind, it's only 16
Yeah,
teams
here, I
advancing
wanna
from
give
this
you
into
100
that, and it's only
bullets.
5 teams advancing
Pick
from
up on
last
that
chance
guy.
to get back
What
into
one
the
is at the
PMGC
grenade
Grand
statue
Finals.
once
So a lot
more?
of so a lot of work to come for the Gladiators, and obviously a lot of other teams
This
out
is
there. But as we are
wild.
about to head into our second Erangel, my question is this: Kalars, Alter Ego, are we going to see a weird rotation
What?
again?
What?
Maybe.
Weird.
I think it depends on the playing path. I think they're probably going
Looking
to.
at the
If the
enemies.
playing path doesn't favor Lipovka, I think they're going to try and go for cars
Let's
and
go
maybe
down.
fight someone. We'll see.
Okay. Well, thank you for your contribution here, Max. Ben, we're going to head over to our commentators to kick off our second Arrow of the day.
The,
Jackie and Blake.
Airdrop statue.
It's interesting because Max always just makes such thought-provoking.
I think one
points,
person is
like,
still
it
where the,
feels hard to
Poor
kind of,
people.
even
where the grenade
regurgitate
is.
what he said, as it's just so big-brained.
Yeah, you can't quite, grasp it a lot of times, and you do
One is
need
still
to
in the
watch
main
it back
building.
a few times afterwards and just really get the notes
The
in
grenade
there,
statue got
understand
me.
what's going on.
One guy main building.
But I'll have to do that
first
after the
floor.
show, I think, as well.
Well, it was a big segment. It was a big
Where are you?
segment.
Yeah.
We don't have time right now to.
I'm on
I'd
the
have to get
stairs.
out
I
the
don't know, I
notepad,
can't
some
break it
down. On the stairs.
highlighters.
Yeah.
No, it's just not possible. It's just not
Maybe
possible.
I
But
can.
obviously, Jason just said Gladiators will win, so I get where he's coming from. on that.
Yeah. That was very clear that Jason said that Gladiators would win again.
Just gonna buy us some
It's
time.
definitely going to be a Gladiators first place chicken dinner on this
One
one.
guy's
I
at the
think they're
wooden
just
house,
playing out of
140.
their
You
see
minds
that
right now.
guy?
I
The
don't know what's
shark?
gotten
Yeah.
into them. What's quite frustrating about this, though, is that getting some flashbacks
same
to
person.
last
Wow,
year
what?
a little bit, where they made it past the survival stage into last
it's the same guy
chance, and
from
then got hit
the
with
camp.
over
They're all coming back. They're
Um,
too crazy.
I
They're
don't
too
want
crazy.
all the thunder to come
It's the same
now.
team.
I
The
would
same team.
quite like
Wow.
some of it to
That
be
I don't
reserved,
understand. Like, why do
keep
people
a
play
little
like
bit of
that?
that lightning in a bottle for the last chance
Whoa.
phase. But
That's
again,
the reason
they've
why
just
the
started
player
stepping
count
up
is
now. I
always
don't know
so
what I'm
low
talking
because
about,
they just
really.
jump back to die
keep
once
going, I
more.
guess, for the time
Let's go Milta. Let's go Milta. Let's go Milta.
I do like the idea.
This is an amazing fight.
that you've
Yeah, you
gone,
see he
okay,
died.
well,
You got him
The
the second
guy
time.
died.
pretty well right now. Let's
what's the
slow that
point?
down.
Slow it
I'm
down.
not-
Yeah.
Play TDM.
We're gonna
If you
make
get
it, though.
too big for your
I think we're
boots
gonna make
and
it.
set the
We're gonna
bar
make it.
too
Yeah, we'll
high,
make it to the
you're
beach.
not going to make it
There's
there
a
again.
Bugatti.
Yeah.
They should
This
just
is
play
interesting.
TDM
You
if
are
they
right.
want to go
The
fight
thing
and then
is,
die
so
and fight again.
we have such an intimate relationship.
All
with
right,
this
wow,
team,
what
we
have I missed?
commentate them all the
Abhishek with the
time, right,
5
over
gifted
you.
Thesaurus
So,
PG memberships.
we
Appreciate
sort
it,
of know their
Abhishek.
tendencies.
Have
Yeah,
an
they can
amazing
be a
day.
frustrating
Thank you
squad.
for for the love and the support.
But there are
Ripley with the 5 gifted memberships as well. Thank you so much for that.
I mean, Reject have certainly started.
Means a lot to me, the love for the YouTube streams. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Quite at, Reject levels of green so far, but we're definitely getting there. And I mean, it all came from that simple
What do you mean, that guy?
Which was literally the most base thing you could have done, which was
William, yeah.
Now
one day you remember his name, one day you call him
and then they went center and won a bunch of games.
Well, because William is a bear.
Again here, it seems to be working reasonably well too. So I think that they've just kind of shedded that mentality of like, it's not going too hot for us right now. Let's just go center. We'll just play our game and see what happens. And I think that's what a lot of teams are starting to do now, which is really, really good to see. You have to get out your own head here, especially if anyone who's in green right now in this last chance scenario. You just have to play out these matches. I was going to touch on Alter Ego. I'm not gonna, and it's tainted, unfortunately. I would have loved to have seen that team do a lot better, but we'll wait and see.
We'll see how things lie at the end, right? Because I think we kind of beat
the horse on that one really in
the way the game.
They've already been beaten.
That's what I mean, but it's just not worth it. But it is a shame. I do agree with you in that sense, where it feels like, especially for sort of the storyline and the narrative as well, with like the interview we had with Rosemary way back on, I believe, day one of the entire event,
but if you're
and how they were looking like they were playing. I was expecting a landfall for them, Black. I was expecting it to go well and for him to go from strength to strength. But they were definitely struggling today. What have they got up the chops? Anything hidden? Anything else? Maybe we'll see. If it's going to come out, this is probably the best time to do it, right? You're kind of leaving yourself with very limited chances. We've got 3 games. This Erangel and the 2 Miramars.
They're running over one guy.
Preceding that, that's the end for you to actually accumulate any points. You're just leaving it in the hands of other teams.
Why would we do that?
We'll find out. We'll see where we're going with it. Mad Bull's been looking a lot better though, Blank. It's been fun to watch Mad Bulls, which is nice to say. Even if they don't look exactly ecstatic every time we see him on camera. Tulicker honestly didn't look too pleased with his win, but I think that was mostly just like stress and relief of going, okay, we needed it. At least we have a win.
And this guy who ran him over is probably like, where's the kill?
That's probably the ideal scenario. But they need to drop that stress. They did seem a bit on edge.
Yeah, come on, we need to get the team masseuse in, right? Massage those worries away. Because right now, I do think they should be a little bit more elated than they actually are. I know that sounds crazy. I have just said it in a different manner, be happier, which isn't always as easy as it sounds a lot of times.
He was already down.
And I think for Mad Bulls, realistically, they're doing really well. And I think they should be proud of themselves so far. I think they also understand that they need to keep a little bit of lightning in the bottle, saved away for that last chance phase. Right now, I think they should be very pleased with where they've placed. They're currently in first. Obviously, Influence Rage still has another day to play. And I think, all things considered, by the end of it, Influence Rage will be on top in terms of the standings. But Mad Bulls certainly done more than enough to secure their position at this point. The rest of these games now, for them, it should just be studied, right? Maintain this kind of play style, maintain this kind of pressure on the rest of the squads, because more than likely you are going to have to play against quite a few of these teams again in the last chance. So the more that they can stake their claim on positions around the map, the more they can stake their claim on these rotations and be a team that some of these other squads may be a little bit scared to run into. You do have that small, let's say, small advantage in the last chance where you have that kind of don't mess with me factor.
A quarter of Pochinki is definitely in the zone.
Mess with me. God, like
on second thought, a fraction of Pochinki is
I do not want to mess with that, man. I mean, that's a good vibe to give off, It definitely would increase your protection a bit.
It's true, I mean, I just say it to myself as I'm walking down the street sometimes. That's how it works.
Don't mess with me.
Don't mess with me. People are like,
the idea
Daddy, that guy's talking to himself.
That's what I mean. Just muttering under your breath. Don't mess with me, mate. Don't mess with me. People just walking by. Excuse me, sir. Do you need help? Don't mess with me. All right.
Yeah, it's less that I'm giving off hard man vibes and more that I'm giving off that I need to be in an asylum vibes. which isn't ideal, but it seems to work. It seems to work.
Hey, look, to each their own, Blank. You know, unorthodox strategies do seem to work best. If your enemy can't prepare for it, you know, how can you? I suppose.
Yeah.
In some way, that's a sentence.
He's done a 720 kickflip roundhouse. Oh my lord!
Oh,
let's see that coming. The standard is a 360.
Yeah, this is wild. Look at the man doing ollies in the car.
Ironically, I had only 2, but I picked up 5, and I can say yes.
Right, put the skateboards down. Oh, bloody hell.
To your statement.
We need to get back in the game here, and some of these teams definitely need to get a rolling. Certainly towards that bottom side of the lobby, we're looking at N-Hyper, You-Do Alliance. Nigma Galaxy sort of are disappointing us so far, I would say. And I mean, they're on screens right now. Radiocio will take down Lord from Nigma Galaxy. Okay. And again, they keep just hemorrhaging members, I would say, on their rotates. You know what? I didn't actually get to talk about this last game, but we'll talk about it now. Is that some of their rotates feel extremely greedy.
The Rhythm is cool.
I think that last match, most of the teams on that south side realize that, look, if we're on the edge already,
James,
I mean, they were
thank you so much for the $3. Appreciated.
They were battling out versus Inco early on. I think in that case, you just have to slow push your way in towards the circle. You're potentially not going to get a high placing off the back of this, but they could have easily taken up where Ducksam was playing. Remember, Ducksam got themselves a second place. Decent, good stuff. Yet they just drove around in that one vehicle, dropped out for a second one, lost Coops in the process, kept driving around to try and find another central position. I think at that point, you just have to realize that this is not working out. Teams aren't just going to let you free roam anymore.
No, it did feel like one of those where, you know, you're kind of thinking, you've thrown that away a little bit. You know, you did have a potential to try and see what you could actually get out of the game, whereas instead, I agree with the rotation was a little bit careless, and potentially even just the idea to jump out at that point. You know, you're only going to delay yourself even more in terms of like the start-up time in the vehicle to actually get away, right?
I kind of forgot to combine
items. It just meant they went from a 4, stuck in a very small camper van, to a 3, still sharing just the one small camper van.
Here.
Ideal.
Oh my
God, a couple of pop shots been going out here, though.
Here.
We've seen a little bit of damage coming across. Mapples have suffered one knock as well. At least they're seeing what they can do to patch up the situation. Here's one for you as well, Blank. When we saw that first
BG,
knock,
you missed my super chat. I did.
Raging OCO in the car, and he bonneted someone. Call that Road Rage OCO.
Oh, yes. I like that. Yeah, go on. We love to see it. He was doing ollie in the car over his head.
The thing is, let me explain how this is even possible. The thing
not
is,
quite towards the center right now,
I put the traps where I think people would go. I drive where I think people would go because I am people, and that's why I always get hit by my own traps. Yes.
Position to work their way out from. They've got a lot of positions they're holding on to. Now,
it's because I should not think like how other people would do this, because then I think how I would do it, and that's my mistake. So I have to think like other people would not do it, and then do that, and then I will not go there.
I mean, you still have Tixie and
I don't do that, and then I would not have hit my own trap. But I am people, and that's why it went south real fast. And I did miss you, Ghoul. Thank you so much. Eid Mubarak to all. Big fan. Thank you for the 10 dirhams. Eid Mubarak.
And I think for
have an
anyone
amazing
in this
day.
Location,
thank you so much.
There's an
I'll be trying to spot out some of these stragglers, trying to take pot shots towards them as they move through.
Right in front with the
Again, Ralph out the vehicle, taken down by Nasa. This is very bad news right now for Nigma Galaxy, and I think this is something that we saw towards their group stage as well, as they're at the start doing great. You know, happy days for Nigma Galaxy.
No, it's not.
Rotations were coming through.
It's a logical fallacy.
However, when you looked at them further in towards the group, their rotations were getting read so easily, time and time again. I think that's the final player from Nigma Galaxy, about to go down soon, but Reject taking a lot of knocks of their own. Gladiators barely
like when you play poker and you think your opponent has a certain set of cards, and then you think how you would think, how they think, but they think how they think, and not how you think they would think, right? Because they're not you. But then you play against yourself, and then you lose.
And he's played it smart. He set himself up so that he could try and nade. I thought he was
just go all in.
on the mech
all the time. Before you even see the court, you just all in
as good as gone
all the time.
No HP, nothing to defend himself with. All off the back of Cluck's nades there. So nice retake on the compound. That was smart in the way he used his utility. And that's unlucky for the Gladiators. So Jason Kaplan's prediction there not coming true, Blank, because they've gone down without a single elim on that one. Got a bit too big for their boots.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, but they've slowed it down, as I asked them to. Well done. You know, this is more the Gladiators we're used to, you know, going down in the first 2 stages. That's great. Brilliant. Now
we can go
do something a little bit more next game. Maybe revert back to, you know, making not the greatest rotations. To be fair, that wasn't bad by any stretch of the word. I quite liked it. Unfortunately for them, I think you make that rotation a little bit too late. You've got players that are not quite on with the vibe there in the backside with Matic and Tixie, who are not up front and personal with Kitsune and Meku. And you just get shot at by teams on the side trying to get in towards that warehouse that you Alliance, quite frankly, had already had a lot of control over. Could have gone a different way if Meku maybe had found that second shot, but like you said, some great nades coming out from Cluck there.
Another buggy.
Alliance. In the meantime, let's have a look at where some of these other teams are playing. MBE Sports up towards that northeast side. Not a huge amount of points found, but they're consistently in the game, right? And I think that's something that's great to see so far on that side.
Yeah, they've been making a lot of cameo appearances, you know, even in situations where it's just 1 or 2 elims and they stay alive. It feels that they're always popping up to be a little bit annoying, nip at teams' heels and try and farm the odd points here and there. This is one that feels like it's just a matter of, you know, the chase at the minute. Feels like you're being forced further and further back, and rejects know they're being hunted on this one, trying to play with at least some map geometry to give them cover, as NASA are definitely roaming quite far out and looking to gain a good understanding of where everyone is stationed, using the reconnaissance of Xenox here with the one vehicle as a bit of a scout, and then having a backup position to fall back towards. Freak's actually still alive as well, Blank. All right, yeah, so that's just the one man that remained. I mean, his entire team basically got picked to pieces instantly. So I suppose it's best case scenario, how far can he go, right? Because looking at a placement game with this one, it's pretty early. Going to be a while on the stopwatch before we come back to that point.
Yeah, I do think it definitely comes back to that case of Enigma Galaxy. A lot of their rotations getting read into towards the end of their group and not making too many adjustments off the back of that. Again, even in their group, there was a lot of feeder teams down towards the bottom as well, which just allowed them to make these rotations. And I think you try and do the same thing again here in the survival stage, where every single team is very willing to take shots and has great gun skill. Remember, these are the best teams in the world, all fighting out for a place in the grand finals to really display what their region, what their team has to offer to everyone that wants to watch. So I think that for Enigma Galaxy, again, it's just a case you can't just randomly rotate over heals. You need to have a bit of scouting going on. You need to ensure you know exactly where some of these teams might be playing, so you can angle yourself in such a way that you can cross and be out of the line of sight of some of these squads that might take shots towards you. If we see it again on that next match from Enigma Galaxy, where they make a random rotate like that and start losing players out the back of the vehicle, I would be fairly remiss to say that this is another team that's feeling like they're going to be in the bottom 8, because I don't sense an adjustment coming through tomorrow.
No, I don't know how you'd give the whole squad a facelift in such a short space of time, right? I don't really think there is enough adjustments that could be made to really change things around quick enough. That's the problem. It feels like we're already getting to that point where, you know, the fine line, Blank, of squads that haven't already accumulated points, especially from Group Green, right? With how tomorrow's going to go, you're not even being there to make a case for yourself, just having to sit pretty and sit on your laurels of the points you've already accumulated. Definitely for a good majority of our squads now, we're seeing that they haven't been able to cut the mustard, haven't been able to really build enough points. But there's been a bit of a change positively for a few of them. At the minute, though, we'll see how things go right here, right now. We'll stick to the facts that we're being given. Again, Reject Tokyo look to try and get themselves a bit more center and try and set up early. Melissa also on the move down, but most likely have to bypass their way through DX. Roadside setup from MBEs as well, as they've got contact. Inko taking damage from quite far away. The Mini 14 pounding the pressure out and buying them enough time to go back on the reds. They've got the ridge as well, so you're covered from the road. They don't have to worry about getting tapped in the head just yet. So they can get Mondo back up. But what's the game plan here? How are they going to play this one?
Yeah, I think your difficulty comes in the fact that, you're getting pushed in by the blue. It's stage 4. It will hurt. You sort of need to make a move soon, but Nasa's sort of unwilling to give up this position on the eastern side. They know how important this compound is to them over towards this eastern side of the circle. They don't just want to let a team get through for free. MB Esports, on the other hand, decide that, look, we're going to take shots over towards Inko. Becker in the way, gets absolutely crunched, but lives off the back of that. Grazed by the vehicle, but not out yet. Becker continues to take shots and will finish it there and then. Broken leg regardless.
Man, okay. Big balls are fire as damage is done onto the vehicle, and he tries to stand his ground. Becker quick on the medic maneuvers, trying to get the heal in. Meanwhile, when Lease, they're being attacked. DX have crashed onto him, but DS, they've crashed more literally just straight into the faces there, hitting the shots one by one. Melissa expiring as they've been stung by the Scorpions, it seems. Blank. Unable to defend from that one. DX can reset, pick clean the corpses on the floor now as well, and reset the utility they've got to work with, so they're going to be content. Meanwhile, back on the move, Xenox, he's been pretty damn quick with his scouting. He's been able to take some point man positions and look to get the damage out early. Again here, setting his focus towards the bridge. Wants to put pressure on Squash, who's solo, outside the play zone as well. So a single bullet he was hoping for, try and make that elimination his, doesn't go his way. Backs off with at least the read and tries to play with the rest of the team. Vitali, he's got a read on him. Trying to take a couple of shots off, but doesn't want to do this as a solo. Blank. Playing smart, knows he still has a team to work with, even if it just is the 3 of them.
Yeah, Blue's really being the big pressure point right now for Inko, because they've got to move further in, but they know as soon as they start to head over towards the top side of this lip, they're going to be in the angles of a lot of other teams that are inside the lobby. Freak here trying to hold his own up towards the Wizard Tower. You can see off towards his western side, you got Ducksan as well, but Becker very happy to try and take this fight with an incredible hold versus these other squads. Freak, though, takes down Vitali, looks for another, but won't get it and will fall himself. So Enigma Galaxy come away from this game with a 1 single point up to 6 now. So a 2-point average for Enigma Galaxy so far. Feels pretty horrible. Quest get way further into this game than they have any others, and that's saying something considering we still have 12 teams alive. We see Procedure Evos off towards that central arena alongside with Reject and Hyper. This could be a great game here for Evos and starting to get some of that points potential on board.
You'd like to see him have a good game as well. The talent that's there on this roster at times, man, feels so powerful. When it's a good sort of mix-up for them as well, when they come in playing off each other's comms very nicely, it's very fun to watch. So having a center position, having firearms in their hands as well, we'll see if they can bring the heat, if they can command respect the longer this one goes on. FaZe back on the move as well, looking to set themselves up as the smokes will be cast out bit by bit. Redface looking like he wants to try and